will choose the path of least resistance. But us, we're gonna take the only road we've ever known. The low road!
And Mario was a dedicated guy to metal music. He died from an aggressive form of leukemia at 30 years old. He started his radio career at Seton Hall. He was at the pirate radio station and then joined Sirius right in 2002.
I think it lost like a major player and a major proponent of New Jersey hardcore. I've got no better way to describe him. He was just larger than life. He was there for everybody. Right. Yeah.
Mario, you know, he was a good guy, you know. He just had zeal. Seldom get to use that word, but he had a zeal, for what he was doing.
To see one of like your closest, most dearest friends have such direction at that point in his life.
I can't think of one thing that I don't love about him. Even when I think about how crazy we were together sometimes. I mean, just even the arguments. They were so passion-filled. They were ridiculous. I miss those.
It was all like the behind-the-scenes stuff, like working at the radio station late at night, and it'd be way after hours, and we'd still be there, and he'd just say something funny that would make me laugh, or he'd kind of bust my chops a little bit. He liked to do that a little bit, bust my chops about things, and it's just good to have around.
Yes, I mean he planned his whole educational career around this radio station. Like, he chose to go to Seton Hall Prep, even like all boys schools. He knew that he wanted to be on the air.
It's like meet and greet weekend where like you meet all like these people who are going to be in your freshman class and all that stuff. But I think from that weekend is when he started asking, how do I get on the radio station? Like, how do I apply? How do I get my info in? What do I have to do to be part of this radio station? And lo and behold, he did it. Like, he didn't let anything get in his way. That's all he wanted to do, was be on the radio.
But he always said, you sleep when you're dead. That's why he hustled so hard. I mean, he hustled.
Told him, like, dude, I'm proud of you. You're out there and you're doing it. You do what you say you're going to do. And that was him, straight up. I think about the kid every single day. I talk to him here and there. Like, I have his portrait tattooed on my ribs as not so much as like an in memoriam. It's more of a tribute, to who he was, like that person, and how important he was to me. Well, when he was at SOU, they were going through format changes and stuff. They had to come up with new programming.
And he actually created a show that didn't exist before. It was his brainchild. He created it, called Under the Stars,
which was an emo radio show. SOU had no emo. They had no emo radio show. And there are emo bands out there who, like I said, they're on the harder end of emo. And he figured he could get a gradual blend.
And at that time, one of the bands that he started to play was this band called Thursday. And they were from the New Brunswick, New Jersey area, so they were kind of local. And he put them on the air on Under the Stars, and it did very well.
Mario is the first DJ to ever play Thursday and My Chemical Romance on the air. Essentially, because of Under the Stars, that bands like Thursday and My Chemical Romance are the bands they are today. That took them from, like, playing basement shows and passing out little handmade flyers to marquees selling sold-out shows to thousands of screaming fans.
He knew he was a radio man. He had the character for the radio. So he went to Seton Hall Prep, and then he went to Seton Hall just so he could be a part of the radio program. And then from there, he moved on to Sirius XM. Like, he stayed in radio. He believed in radio. I was like, you listen to the radio? He's like, I'm on the radio. I was like, oh, okay.
Like you said, having somebody go from, like, ambitious high school kid to national radio DJ through the channel of SOU, that's huge. After SOU, Mario went right to Sirius. He was laboring to get a job at Sirius, submitting resumes and reels. Started with an internship while at SOU, doing an internship for Sirius as well. So, I mean, he had a foot in the door before he even graduated. You know, like, for someone to take that kind of initiative, for someone to love music that much and want to be on the radio that bad, it speaks in volumes. Like, you know, people's actions speak louder than words sometimes, and right there, you know, it just shows that come hell or high water, he was going to be on the radio, one way or another.
You know, heavy metal was just the tip of the iceberg for him. It was like a musical encyclopedia. I was amazed at times about how much music he knew about.
The kid just encompassed music. If you ever saw his DVD or his CD collection, you'd be like, dude, you've listened to all of these? It's like, yeah.
I felt like Mario was a couple of steps ahead.
Yes, I feel like he's made such an impact on me and every person that knew him. I mean, even my family that only met him a few times, or people that have met him through Sirius, like doing just one interview. He left like a huge dent in all of us. So that's why I'm creating the scholarship, is I want other people to know how much of a hustler, I mean, how hard he worked to get where he was, and that we want other people to do those things. So, like, let's give you the funds to do that, you know?
I can't tell you how many students I worked with at WSOU during my day that had to quit because of funds or finances, or their parents couldn't afford it, or they couldn't afford it, or they lost their financial aid, whatever it was. There was a lot of people that I had to take a couple of semesters off or had to leave the school altogether, and they were passionate about working at the station. So now there's going to be something that might be able to help people like that finish out their education at WSOU and Seton Hall.
He was a big advocate of education. As much as I hate to admit it, he was very, very staunch about, like, his sisters going to school, about me going to school, about once you have that degree, you can do anything you want. You just have to have the degree to start. So if this is what it takes to get somebody else to have that degree, then let's do that.
You know, everything Mario touched all of a sudden blew up. It was something good, and it was great for the station.
You know, I think the scholarship is the least that we could do to keep his memory alive and to honor him. It was one of our own.
I think that the scholarship is extremely important, not even just because it's in Mario's name, but because of what it stands for. Mario had such a heavy and exceptional work ethic. He was so honest and really went above and beyond over and over, but definitely wasn't somebody who was rich. He was from, you know, from an earnest like background. He really wasn't somebody who had a ton of money to throw out. So what the scholarship to me represents is somebody who puts in hard work and somebody who is given that opportunity to take that creativity and go above and beyond. It's opportunities like that that help make a character like Mario possible, that help make somebody who wouldn't necessarily be able to do something like that able to follow his dreams and to chase their dreams. And obviously, Seton Hall is a great school to have something like this associated with, because it's opened doors for so many people, more than just Mario. I mean, Seton Hall's Pirate Radio's had so many different characters come out of there, and I think that it's a perfect representation of everything that Mario is about.
It's very difficult. It's very emotional. Every time I think about what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for, it's hard, but I want his name to live on. Yeah. $25,000 is needed for a named scholarship. To endow the scholarship would be $50,000. So ultimately, my goal is $50,000. I want this scholarship to last forever, but most immediately $25,000. If we reach 50, it's an endowed scholarship, meaning that this scholarship would exist forever. They would just take a small percentage out of it each year. If we have a $25,000 scholarship, then we can allocate either $1,000 every year, or $2,000 every year, or we could just give it out in one big lump sum. But I'm going for longevity. I want somebody to say his name for 25 plus years.
thought that being hardcore was kind of about being rebellious and
revolutionary in some way.
Exactly, being revolutionary, and you know, I love the music, hate the biz, so I kind of feel like I'm infiltrating sometimes, you know, like
yeah, you totally are. You're
a
perfect example of that.